Alright, what's up guys? I'm back with another tier list video. Today we're going to be ranking the most exciting UFC fighters inside the octagon. So not their personality. Also, to preface, everybody in this video is exciting, whether you're in the S tier or C tier. So yeah, let's get right into it. Starting out, I'm going to take Dricus Du Plessis and I'm going to put him in the B tier. Dricus, ever since he became champion, well, ever since he got into the UFC, super exciting. I think he only has 2 decision wins in the UFC. The rest are finishes. So against Strickland and Tavares. Dricus comes forward. He puts on the heat. He never stops coming forward. Never stops looking for the finish. Never gasses out, even though he looks like he will. He looks super goofy when he fights. But Dricus, man, one of the most exciting fighters right now. I love watching him fight. Maybe if he continues his title reign the way he is, we can bump him up to A or S. But I think for now, B tier is fair for Dricus. Moving right along, let's go with Robert Whitaker. I'm going to put Robert Whitaker in the C tier. I love watching Robert Whitaker fight. I don't know, there's like an aura around his fights in general. Like whenever he KO'd Ikram and he hit him with that head kick, that was like insane. But every time I watch a Robert Whitaker fight, I'm excited. It's exciting. His fight style's exciting. Rarely has boring fights, if any. I can't even think of the last fight I watched of Robert Whitaker's that was boring. So I think Whitaker in the C tier is fair. Moving right along, let's pull out Dustin Poirier. I'm going to put Dustin Poirier in the A tier. In the B tier. Dustin Poirier, B tier. Just fought Islam, surprisingly competitive somewhat. He did get outboxed for most of the fight and then get submitted, but he had his moments in the Islam fight. But if you look back on Dustin Poirier's career, he's either getting finished or he's finishing you. Typically, he doesn't fight to decision that often. He's extremely exciting all around. Like no matter what he's doing, he's just straight violence. And yeah, I've always watched Poirier is actually from my hometown in Lafayette, Louisiana. So there's that. But Dustin Poirier, super exciting, super fun to watch. And if there's a Poirier fight on, I'm watching. Sucks that he is probably going to only have 1 fight left in the UFC. But let's see. Moving right along. Let's go with Max Holloway, S tier. Max Holloway, easy S tier. Throughout his career, shown to consistently put on exciting performances. That knockout with 1 second left at UFC 300 against Gaethje was one of the most insane moments in UFC history. Bro was already kicking Gaethje's ass the whole fight, points to the ground, says let's slug it out, and then boom, KOs him, sends his head to the moon or straight into the canvas. Yeah, Max Holloway doesn't know how to have a boring fight. The fight against Korean Zombie, exciting. The fight against Jair Rodriguez, exciting. The last 2 Volk fights against Volk, even though he got his ass kicked, exciting. So Max Holloway, yeah, S tier exciting. If I'm watching a Holloway fight, the Cater fight, I'm excited. So I think S tier is fair. Moving right along, gonna pull out Michel Pereira. If you know, you know. The man's doing backflips in the cage. He's spinning on his back, trying to go for a submission, kicking off the cage, just doing all kind of acrobatics and shit. This dude is got insane cardio to be doing all that in the octagon. But exciting fighter throughout his whole UFC career. Moved up to middleweight recently in the last year, and I think he's 3-0 at middleweight, all finishes. So this dude continues to be exciting. Doesn't know how to have a boring fight, and just consistently kicks people's ass. So Michel Pereira in the A tier is what I'm going with today. Moving right along. Dan Hooker. I'm going to put Dan Hooker in the C tier. Dan Hooker had that. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Dustin Poirier and Dan Hooker, they had that banger in 2020. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, Dan Hooker consistently banging it out, whether he's getting finished or he's fighting to a decision for an absolute war with Mateus Gamrot, with Jalen Turner. Just in general, Dan Hooker has really fun fights, and he's kill or be killed. The only thing I have to say, Dan Hooker, is, bro, did you have a midlife crisis with all those tattoos? Good grief. Dude just tattooed his entire body in like 2 weeks. Anyways, Dan Hooker in the C tier, moving right along. Let's go with Islam Makhachev. I'm putting Islam in the A tier. People are going to disagree with this, but maybe. But Islam in the A tier, whenever you're the pound for pound #1 fighter and you're just that skilled everywhere, you're going to be exciting to watch. Islam, unless you're Volkanovski and you cannot be submitted, he's probably going to submit you or even KO you because he KO'd Volkanovski on the feet, but he couldn't submit Volk in the first fight. Just submitted Dustin Poirier, submitted the submission king in Charles Oliveira. Like Islam, whenever he fights, there's a certain aura around it. Like I just feel excited and I just feel like entertained the whole time. So Islam in the A tier, I think, is beautiful, perfect, moving right along. Paulo Costa in the C tier. My man Paulo, the eraser. Now, even though he doesn't have much power, Paulo brings it. I mean, look at his history of fights. Even when he was getting his ass kicked by Adesanya, it was entertaining. When he was slugging it out with the soldier of God, Yoel Romero, super entertaining. I like watching Paulo Costa fight. I don't know how he hit Robert Whitaker with that head kick and didn't knock his head into the moon, but Whitaker survived. But yeah, every time Paulo Costa fights, typically it's a banger against Luke Rockhold, getting blood spat on his face, against Marvin Vettori, slugging it out. Yeah, Paulo Costa has underratedly fun fights to watch, so I think C tier is fair for him. Next up, Ilia Topuria in the A tier. Ilia, very exciting fighter. You know you're going to get violence when you're watching Ilya. He's either going to knock your head to the moon or he's going to knock you down to the ground and submit you like he did to Bryce Mitchell. Or he'll just beat up your face for 25 minutes like he did to Josh Emmett. So yeah, Ilya Taporia in the A tier. I'm super pumped for his fight with Holloway coming up at UFC 308. That's going to be a banger. I'm leaning Holloway, but I wouldn't be surprised if Taporia won. Taporia is saying he's going to spark Holloway in the first round. I do not see that happening. But anyways, Ilya Taporia in the A tier, I think, is fair. Moving right along. Petr Yan, C tier. Petr Yan, consistently exciting fights throughout his whole career. His last fight, it was super wholesome to see him get a win against Song Yadong after what he's been through in his last 3 fights. Even when he was getting his ass kicked by Merab for 5 rounds, I was still entertained watching this man trying to fight back, trying his best to keep it going. When he was beating Aljo's ass, when he KO'd Uriah Faber with a kick, when he beat Jose Aldo in the 5th round, pounding him out. Like, Petr Yan has had consistently fun and exciting fights throughout his career. So I think it's fair he's on this list, and C tier is where I have him today. Moving on. Low IQ, Michael Chandler, even though he hasn't fought in 2 years because he's waiting on Conor McGregor to come back. Michael Chandler, stop wasting your career. Get back in the octagon. We need to see another exciting fight. Michael Chandler doesn't know how to do anything but have exciting fights. The Justin Gaethje fight, the Dan Hooker fight in his debut, knocking him out. The Charles Oliveira fight where he almost finished Charles but came back to be finished. The Dustin Poirier fight, banging, slanging it out, slanging and banging until he got submitted. Michael Chandler, one of the most exciting fighters in UFC/Bellator history. And at a ripe old age of 38, he needs to get back into the octagon or he's going to find himself in a nursing home. So, Michael Chandler in the S tier, I think, is fair. Moving right along, Tom Aspinall. I'm going to put Tom in the B tier today. Tom Aspinall. Now, whenever you're talking about a fighter like Tom Aspinall, he has the shortest average fight time in UFC history, and he knocks everybody out. So, automatically exciting, super accurate with his punches, super fast, one of the fastest heavyweights we've ever seen. And in turn, it's nerve-wracking to watch a Tom Aspinall fight because you're like, man, when is he going to finish him? And then you're just sitting there like waiting for the finish. And then it happens. It's like, damn, this dude's so good. But yeah, Tom Aspinall in the B tier, knocks out everybody he fights, just smoke blades. Before that, he smoked Pavlovich. Before that, he smoked Tybura. I mean, this dude's smoking everybody. And if he fights John Jones, as I keep saying in every damn video, he will smoke John Jones. Mark my words. But John Jones is not going to fight him. Anyways, Tom Aspinall B tier, moving right along. Let's go with Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley in the A tier. Now, some people are going to say I'm glazing Sean O'Malley because I had him over Topuria in the power tier list, but I can interchange that. I will say I think Topuria is more powerful than O'Malley, just to correct myself on that last video. But Ilia Topuria, Sean O'Malley, super exciting, fun to watch. He's so fast twitch and like such a good striker. Like, how could you not be entertained watching him the whole time? He's just so fast and lighting you up on the feet, and he doesn't even need to show his submission game because his striking is so good. Good luck getting this dude to the ground. Maybe Merab takes him down, but I think he steamrolls Merab and KOs him in the first round. But let's see. Not a Sean O'Malley glazer, even if it seems like it. He's all right. I mean, his personality is a dud. He has no personality, but his fight style is extremely exciting. So I think Sean O'Malley in the A tier is fair. Moving right along, another A tier, Khamzat Chimaev. Got to put Khamzat in the A tier. The reason I put Khamzat in the A tier is because this dude has some of the most exciting first round fights you'll ever see. And the reason it's so exciting is because you know he's going to dart across the octagon, shoot a takedown, and he's going to get the takedown no matter who it's against, whether it's against Usman, whether it's against Gilbert Burns, whether it's against anybody really. I think he's going to get Robert Whitaker down immediately in their fight, but I think Whitaker's going to survive. So one of the most exciting first round fighters in UFC history, just because of how dominant and how like controlling with his grappling he is, and how successful he is with it. Like I think this guy can take down anybody in the middleweight or welterweight division, anybody. So even Dricus. So Hamzat Chimaev in the A tier, I think, is fair just because of like how nerve wracking it is to like watch the beginning of his fights. Moving right along, Charles Oliveira S tier. Now I probably could put Charles in the A tier because his last few fights maybe haven't been as exciting. The Armin fight was okay. I wish the third round would have went on or the second, whenever I think that was the end of the fight where he had the submission in, but Armin survived. But Charles Oliveira throughout his whole career, he's either getting finished or he's finishing. That's funny. Charles Oliveira, very exciting. Most finishes in UFC history, most submissions in UFC history. The dude just is a finish machine. And I hope he is getting up there in age, going to be 35 soon. So I hope we can get a few more exciting performances and entertaining performances out of Oliveira. But yeah, S tier, I think, is more than fair for him. Moving right along, give me Shavkat Rakhmonov in the B tier. Yeah, Shavkat in the B tier, I think is fair just because he has 18 fights, 18 finishes. He's finished every opponent he's ever fought. I think he has 10 submissions and 8 knockouts, or other way around. But yeah, Shavkat. Also, I think whenever he fights Bilal, he finishes Bilal whatever way he wants because Bilal's mid. Shavkat will be the next welterweight champion. Super exciting. I can't wait to see this guy's title reign. Hopefully, I don't choke on those words and he doesn't fucking lose to Bilal. That'd be the biggest meme. But yeah, Shavkat in the B tier, I think is fair. His Sicily finishes everyone he fights, and he just has an exciting style. Whether he's striking or he's on the ground trying to submit you, dude's just exciting. Moving right along, Justin Gaethje, S tier. Justin Gaethje does not know how to have a boring fight. This guy has been in the UFC since 2017, came out the gates with one of the most entertaining fights we've ever seen against Michael Johnson, has consistently had entertaining fights against Poirier the first time where he got knocked out, against Eddie Alvarez where he got knocked out. Even when he gets knocked out, this dude is straight violence and straight entertainment. Whenever he knocked out James Vick after James Vick talked all that shit, that was hilarious. Then he knocked out Barboza, and then he knocked out Dustin Poirier in the rematch. He got destroyed by Max Holloway, but still was super entertaining and was willing to bang it out in the last 10 seconds to risk getting KO'd. So that just goes to show you that Justin Gaethje will risk anything to be entertaining. That's all he cares about. He never was, I mean, he wanted the belt, but I think more than anything, he wants the fans to remember him as an entertaining fighter, and he is. So Justin Gaethje in the S tier, I think no one can argue that. Next up, Yuri Prohaska. I'm putting Yuri in the B tier. Yuri Prohaska in the B tier. I was gonna put him in A, but Yuri in the B tier, just because he brings like that samurai, like with the hair and the just the aura around him. Both the stare downs between both Alex Pereira fights were insane, and just Yuri. I think he has like 35, 36 professional fights, and maybe has went to decision maybe 2 or 3 times, if that. The dude just comes to either get knocked out or knockout. And unfortunately for him, he did get KO'd by Alex Pereira twice. In between, he had a Rakic fight, which he did end up winning, just because maybe Rakic softened up his chin. But Pereira had already KO'd him before that, and I felt bad for Yuri. He still is one of the most exciting fighters. He sent Dominic Reyes to another dimension. He sent Volkan Oezdemir to another dimension. So I mean, he submitted Glover in one of the most exciting fights. I forgot about that. That was fucking insane. Yuri submitting Glover in the 5th round with like 28 seconds to go was one of the most insane moments in UFC title fight history. So yeah, you know what? Just for that, I'm moving Yuri up to the A tier. Yuri in the A tier. Woo! All right. Last but not least, the man who KO'd Yuri twice, Alex Pereira. I'm putting him in the S tier. I don't give a damn. If Alex Pereira's coming for you, you already know the left hook Larry is going to hit you on the chin and you're going to fall down. Alex Pereira, the dude's left hook highlight in the UFC already. I mean, by the way, Stipe has not fought since Alex Pereira made his debut. Fun fact. So the fact that John Jones is still ducking Tom Aspinall to fight Stipe. I had to throw that at the end of the video just for the memes. Anyways, back to Alex Pereira. This dude finished Izzy. He did get finished by Izzy in the rematch, but it's still exciting because he got KO'd. He KO'd Jamal Hill, which was beautiful. Jamal Salty Man Hill. And then he KO'd Yuri Prohaska twice. He had not the best fight with Jan Blachowicz, but Alex Pereira has shown if that left hook lands, you're going down. And that, to me, is one of the most exciting things. Like, just watching Alex Pereira strike, so exciting. And yeah, that's ultimately the end of the video. Thank you guys for 50 subscribers. I really appreciate it. All the likes, all the comments, all the new subscribers. If you watch the videos and you enjoy them, please like. It helps me see what you like. And yeah, let me know what tier list you want to see next. And I'm excited for UFC 306 this weekend in the Sphere. I'm excited to see who wins. But yeah, let me know what y'all think in the comments, and y'all have a good one.